I'm going to share with you my 3-step method to graduating college in 3 years. I went in with no dual enrollment. I didn't have any AP credit. So basically, this is just a whole system of finesse. Step 1. Choose what it is that you want to study. For me, I did a double major and almost a minor. The way that I actually went about choosing what I wanted to study was looking at each major that sounded, like it tickled my fancy, read the description, read some of the classes that are in it, and see if that kind of makes me feel any type of way. If it didn't, then we weren't going to do that. So I started with international relations as a major and Asian studies as a minor, but that ended up turning into an international relations major, Asian studies major, and almost a Middle Eastern North African studies minor. Step 1, choose your major, choose your minor, whatever it is that you think you want to do. Step 2 is go through the course catalog and decide which classes it is that you want to take. This part is kind of really important because it'll help you do number 3. Number 3 is called the double dip. You already know what that means, right? When you dip into something twice, you double it up. So a lot of schools, they allow you to double count the courses that you're taking. So for example, some of the courses in your major can count towards your minor. That means that instead of taking 14 for your major and 7 for your minor, that you can take 14 for your major and 4 for your minor. Arbitrary 14 over here. That is the secret to graduating in 3 years. Double dip like your life depended on it. Wait, I lied. Okay, that's not the full secret. That's part of the finesse. Then the third part of this system is once you've figured out what your major is, see all the classes that you want to take and which classes overlap. Number 3 is to take similar courses simultaneously. Sometimes your courses will have like 2 different titles or 2 separate classes. They count as 2, but they have a connected topic. The reason why this is important is because it makes it so much easier to take overloaded schedule. It's averaged to take about 18 credits per semester, but I was taking around 30 credits per semester, and that's because I felt like I didn't have to learn too much new information at one time because I was in 2 separate classes that were teaching the same thing, so it made it easier when you're studying for your tests, etc. Sometimes the correlation isn't necessarily in the title itself where it's like a global to global match, but maybe it's just in content, right? So it's about a particular region, so you're going to get a more well-rounded view of that region at one time instead of taking one class about Latin American societies in one semester and then another semester you're also taking something again that's similar. Maybe it's like the economics of the societies, and maybe one other one is more focused on the anthropological side of it, and then just pairing those together in the same semester. They're technically 2 different things, but they're teaching me the same information. So one, you sound a little bit smarter in your classes and in your papers and in your assignments when you're expanding your knowledge of the situation in a way that that particular teacher didn't teach you, but you learned that in the other class. So that's a way to, get your little accolades, get your gold star in class, and that's how you successfully overload your classes. So course overload, taking about 30 credits a semester instead of 18, was the underpinning of graduating in 3 years with a double major and almost a minor. So the reason that the minor didn't work out is because I attended a small college, and so core classes were offered at different times, and when it got down to the last semester, a core class that I needed for completing my minor conflicted with a core class that I needed for completing my major, and so I couldn't take it. Let's have an actual look at my receipts. Taking ancient Chinese thought and Asian religions at the same time. What else did I do? Geography of global citizenship and politics of global poverty, and then as well as international law, all within the same one semester. And those you can see kind of correlate with another. What does citizenship, global citizenship, mean in the context of global poverty, right? Like what responsibility do you have, etc. And then what can you do that you learn through international law. And understanding international law better helps you understand politics of global poverty as well as what it means to be a global citizen. So something like that, where you're strategically packaging your courses together, is going to make your college experience theoretically a lot less painful. So that's the secret. That's how you do it. You take a lot of classes, but you make them manageable by double dipping and taking similar courses at the same time. This takes a lot of intentionality. Before I even went into college, I knew all of the classes that I was going to take. To be fair, some things did come up. So for example, like general education system, I didn't choose those classes. But as far as classes for my major, I did choose everything before. And I feel like choosing your classes with a little bit more intentionality than just, oh, this sounds cool, this pops up, allows you to be a little bit more finessing. There was also a lot of strategy in how I do my work, how I get my work done. I became a master skim artist in college, as well as finding some strategic ways around. We don't need to get into all of that. But if you do want to know, let me know and I might tell y'all a little something. Keep in mind that this is not for everybody. It won't work for everybody, especially if your courses are very different. It's going to be really hard to do this. For me, I very intentionally chose courses that had a little bit more overlap. So for a while I was in between international business or international relations, and when I was looking at the course catalog and seeing what things were offered, I was kind of like, oh, okay, well, maybe international relations is more my thing. And like, just because you're taking more classes doesn't mean that you can't still have a college life, right? So I was working way too many jobs, like 30 to 40 hours a week. And before you ask, yes, I was making good grades. Yes, I was getting enough sleep. Yes, I had a social life. 5 or 6 organizations, clubs, activities around campus, while also taking an overloaded course schedule. My social life, on the other hand, I mean, like, naturally, I'm a grandma. I go to bed at 8 sometimes. Oh, yeah, a bonus. So even though I graduated in 3 years, one thing I like to say is that I had to pay for 3 years of school and I got the 4th one free. For me, graduating college early wasn't because I really want to get out of this place. I actually really enjoyed my time there. It's just that I was paying my tuition and it was expensive. So I was like, the faster we can get this over with, the better. What actually ended up happening was I started working at the school as a hall director for my senior year. So I consider it being paid to go to college, essentially, right? Because as an employee, I was still there and capable of hanging out with my friends, you know, keeping in line with checks and everything. That was really the finesse of a lifetime. Like, graduating college in 3 years is cute, but getting paid to go to college for your 4th year, remember, some people allow themselves to be finessed. But that was my system, and hopefully it can work for you too.